Think you know all the countries in the world? There's one you probably haven't seen on most maps: Somaliland. For over 30 years, Somaliland has had its own government, currency, and army, yet no international recognition. That changed yesterday, December 26, 2022. Wurigir Gus 2025. Wurigotstern Sum 5. Sanri Kodimbin Israel became the first major UN country to say, "We see you, Somaliland." Imagine waiting outside a club for decades and finally a VIP waves you in. That's Somaliland's moment. For decades it's been the most stable, democratic part of a troubled region, but the world ignored it. Israel's recognition is a game changer. Why now? Why Israel? This is about more than just a flag on a map. The Horn of Africa is a crossroads for global trade, and Somaliland sits right at the center. Major powers, China, the US, Turkey, the UAE, are all vying for influence here. Israel's move has everyone scrambling to respond. This isn't just a local story, it's a global one. We'll break down why Somaliland fought so long for this, why Israel stepped up, and what it means for the region. This is a story of underdogs, power plays, and a strategic location that could reshape Africa and the Middle East. And it all started with one announcement that shook the world. To see why this matters, let's rewind to 1991. While Somalia descended into civil war, Somaliland in the north declared independence, drawing on its unique history as a former British protectorate. They built a nation from scratch, holding peace conferences under trees, disarming militias, and blending traditional clan systems with democracy. Somaliland created its own currency, flag, and constitution, and held free elections. For over 30 years it's been an island of peace, building schools, hospitals, and a functioning state, largely ignored by the world. The problem? No recognition. Without it, Somaliland can't access international loans, sign trade deals, or travel freely. It's like being invisible at a party, present, but ignored. Diplomats have pleaded their case worldwide, but the answer was always, "We support a united Somalia." No recognition means no seat at the table, no economic lifelines, and no global legitimacy. Yet, Somaliland persisted, building a stable society against the odds. Now, with Israel's recognition, the world is finally forced to pay attention. This could be the turning point Somaliland has waited for. The question is, will others follow? For Somaliland, this is validation after decades of being overlooked. The world's doors may finally be opening. Why did Israel go first? It's all about geography and strategy. Somaliland sits on the Gulf of Aden, near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for global shipping. 30% of the world's shipping containers pass through here. For Israel, that's a lifeline. With Yemen's instability and Iranian-backed threats nearby, Israel needs reliable partners to secure these waters. Somaliland offers a strategic vantage point, eyes and ears on a critical trade route. There's also the Abraham Accords. Israel is expanding its network of Muslim-majority allies, and Somaliland fits the bill. This move counters rivals like Iran and Turkey, and strengthens Israel's influence in Africa. Military and intelligence cooperation is on the table. Reports say Israeli tech already helps Somaliland control its airspace. For Israel, this is about security, alliances, and projecting power in a volatile region. For Somaliland, it's a chance to join a new circle of friends. This partnership is as much about geopolitics as it is about recognition. It's a bold move with global implications. Right after Israel, South Sudan recognized Somaliland. As the world's youngest country, South Sudan knows the struggle for independence. Their recognition is both solidarity and smart politics. South Sudan needs friends, trade partners, and new alliances to survive. By supporting Somaliland, it positions itself as a forward-thinking player in Africa. There's a practical angle too. South Sudan is landlocked and relies on neighbors for trade. A strong relationship with Somaliland and its port could open new routes for South Sudan's vital oil exports. This is long-term strategy. More friends, more options. Aligning with Israel and potentially the US gives South Sudan powerful allies. This move could bring more aid, investment, and diplomatic support. It's a classic, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. By backing Somaliland, South Sudan invests in its own future. It's a win-win for two underdogs. At the heart of this story is the port of Berbera. If Somaliland is the main character, Berbera is the prize everyone wants. This deep-water port, modernized with UAE investment, is a gateway between Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Ethiopia, a landlocked giant, is desperate for access to the sea and signed a deal with Somaliland for port use and a naval base, but Ethiopia hesitated, fearing backlash from Somalia and regional powers. Now, with Israel's recognition, the pressure is on Ethiopia to act. The port is a game-changer for Ethiopia's economy and a strategic asset for anyone who controls it. The UAE, Turkey, China, and the US are all watching closely. Control of Berbera means influence over global trade. For Somaliland, Berbera is leverage. For others, it's a key to power. The race for the port is on, and the stakes are global. Berbera isn't just a port, it's a chess piece in a high-stakes game. Whoever controls it shapes the region's future. The world is watching who makes the next move. Israel and South Sudan's recognition of Somaliland sent shockwaves through the Horn of Africa. Somalia, which claims Somaliland as its own, is furious. This is their worst-case scenario. Expect Somalia to cut ties and rally allies like the African Union and Arab League to condemn the move. But Somalia's government is fragile, and this weakens its position even more. Regional giants like Egypt and China are alarmed. Egypt fears Ethiopia's growing power, and China wants to maintain the status quo. Turkey, with deep ties to Somalia, sees its influence threatened. On the flip side, this could trigger a domino effect. Other African nations and the UAE might now consider recognizing Somaliland. Even Western powers may have to rethink their one Somalia policy. The dam has broken. More countries could follow. The region's balance of power is shifting fast. The world is bracing for what comes next. Every player in this drama wants something. For Somaliland, recognition means access to loans, trade, and global legitimacy. Finally, a seat at the table. For Israel, it's about securing shipping lanes, expanding alliances, and gaining a strategic partner in a Muslim-majority nation. Israel also opens new markets for its technology and strengthens its global standing. South Sudan gains relevance, new allies, and a potential trade route for its oil. Ethiopia now has leverage. Its recognition of Somaliland could secure vital port access. The UAE's investment in Berbera looks safer with a recognized government. This alliance could create a powerful economic and security bloc in the Horn of Africa. For everyone involved, it's about business, security, and influence. The stakes are high, and the rewards are real. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a new balance of power. The Horn of Africa is becoming a global crossroads. Everyone wants a piece of the action. As exciting as this is, Somaliland's journey is just beginning, and it won't be easy. Somalia will fight hard to block recognition, using every diplomatic tool it has. The African Union and big powers like China and Egypt oppose changing borders and may try to block Somaliland's UN membership. The US is cautious, torn between security interests and its one Somalia policy. There's a risk of rising tensions. Regional rivals could escalate military buildups. Recognition could bring stability, or it could spark new conflicts. Somaliland now faces higher expectations and must manage new alliances carefully. It must avoid being drawn into bigger geopolitical battles. The dream of recognition brings new responsibilities and risks. Skilled leadership will be crucial. The world is watching Somaliland's next steps. The journey is far from over. December 27, 2025, the map of the Horn of Africa has changed. Somaliland, long ignored, is finally on the world's radar. Israel and South Sudan's recognition is a breakthrough, but the real test is what comes next. Will more countries follow, making Somaliland's acceptance unstoppable? Or will opposition from Somalia, China, and Egypt stall the momentum? The world could split into camps, those for Somaliland's sovereignty and those for Somalia's unity. Somaliland must now prove it can be a responsible global partner. Its story is one of resilience and hope. Now, the world is watching. Will Somaliland become Africa's 55th nation, or will politics block its path? The answer is still unwritten, but history is in the making. As the dust settles on the first wave of recognition, Somaliland stands at a diplomatic crossroads. Its leaders are quietly reaching out, hosting back-channel talks, inviting investment delegations, and seeking mediation from neutral states. The African Union could become a key arena, where Somaliland's diplomats must make their case with both humility and ambition. Meanwhile, the European Union and Gulf states weigh their options, balancing strategic interest with long-standing alliances. Behind closed doors, new alliances are forming. Could Somaliland broker deals on security, trade, or even climate resilience to win over hesitant neighbors? Will it join regional organizations or seek observer status at the United Nations? Each handshake, each agreement, is another step toward legitimacy, or another hurdle to clear. The road ahead is uncertain, paved with both opportunity and risk, but Somaliland's future will be shaped not just by recognition, but by the relationships it forges from this moment onward. The world is watching, and so are potential friends and rivals. The next moves will determine whether Somaliland's bid for statehood becomes a beacon for others, or a cautionary tale in the annals of diplomacy. As Somaliland navigates the shifting tides of international recognition, the economic stakes have never been higher. The first glimmers of legitimacy have already sparked cautious optimism among local entrepreneurs and international investors alike. Ports in Berbera and beyond are buzzing with new activity, as trade routes once blocked by diplomatic red tape now begin to open. But recognition is a double-edged sword. While foreign investment promises jobs and infrastructure, it also brings heightened competition and the pressure of global market forces. Local industries, once sheltered, must adapt quickly to survive. The influx of capital could transform Somaliland's cities, fueling construction booms and expanding access to technology. Yet, without careful planning, it could also widen inequalities and strain fragile public services. International aid agencies, previously limited by legal constraints, are now exploring direct partnerships with Somaliland's government. This could mean new funding for schools, hospitals, and climate resilience projects. However, with opportunity comes risk. Corruption, mismanagement, and external debt could undermine progress if not checked by strong institutions. For ordinary Somalilanders, the promise is tangible, a future with more jobs, better roads, and new opportunities. But the path will not be easy. Economic transformation requires not just money, but vision, discipline, and a commitment to inclusive growth. As Somaliland stands at this economic crossroads, its choices will echo far beyond its borders, offering lessons in both the price and promise of recognition. As we've seen, Somaliland's journey toward recognition is more than a political milestone. It's a story of resilience, ambition, and the complex realities of forging a nation's future. The choices made today will define not just Somaliland's destiny, but will also send ripples across the region and the world. Recognition brings both opportunity and responsibility, demanding careful leadership, inclusive growth, and vigilance against new challenges. But this story isn't just about governments or global powers, it's about people. It's about entrepreneurs building new businesses, students dreaming of brighter futures, and communities working together to shape their own path. Their determination is a lesson for us all. Progress is built not in one bold leap, but in steady steps, guided by hope and hard work. Now we turn to you. Stay informed. Share this story. Engage in conversations about the power of recognition and the promise of self-determination. The world is watching, and so are the next generations. How we respond today will help shape tomorrow's headlines. If you found this journey compelling, consider subscribing for more in-depth stories from around the globe. And let us know in the comments, what do you think Somaliland's next move should be? The road ahead is uncertain, but together, we can keep the